Oh my goodness, you are such an inspiration. Wow, you really are. You're so strong. Can I pet your service dog? Ugh. 1, 2, 3, let's go! We are artists, parents, teachers, good guys, bad guys, students, leaders. I'm not your inspiration, yeah, I'm fully who I am. Got my own expectations that don't fit into your plans. I'm not your sad story, so I wrote it in this song. Everything you know about disability is wrong. Yeah, everything you know. Yeah, everything you know about disability is wrong.
Hey listeners, welcome to another episode of Everything You Know About Disability is Wrong. Today on the podcast, we have Richard Jacobs.
Richard Jacobs, gamer tag Dreadwinner 1007, has been gaming since he could hold a controller. He's a member of the QuadGods, an esports team comprised of players with quadriplegia. The team is featured in the documentary QuadGods, which you can watch on HBO Max today.
Welcome to the show. We are so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Before we
here.
we're happy to have you. Before we get into our main questions, let's go ahead and do our audio descriptions, where we just describe what we look like for our low vision or blind listeners. I'll start. This is Lily speaking. I am a white passing Indian woman. I have half blonde, half black hair split down the middle, and I'm wearing a black turtleneck and the necklace that I wear in every episode that I will fidget with for most of the conversation. And I will pass it to Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a white woman with red hair, but my hair looks brown in this video. And I'm in my bedroom, sitting in my wheelchair. So I'll pass it to Richard.
Okay. How you doing? My name is Richard Jacobs. I'm a black man with I would say long dreadlocks and I'm in a power wheelchair. I'm a quadriplegic.
Awesome. Well, we're so excited to have you on the show. Erin, take it away. Let's get into it.
So our show is called Everything You Know About Disability is Wrong. And the first question we always ask our guests is, what do people get wrong about you?
When I think about that, I think about what do people get wrong about me the most? I would think that it's the fact that they might think that I'm fragile because I'm in a chair. So because of the fact that I'm in a chair, a lot of times when people deal with me, they deal with me as if, they have to deal, it's like they're dealing with a baby or something like that, which, I'm nothing like that at all. Like I'm a fully grown man. I'm more than willing and capable to handle things on my own if I need to. So, it's, even though I could kind of understand, them wanting to be delicate with somebody that they feel might be, in a certain position. But at the same time, to me, it's a little annoying because, you know, I don't need the, it's almost like type of pity type of, I don't need that. I would rather, them let me just move along how I need to, and then when I need the help, I would just ask.
Totally, that's very relatable. Yeah, like people think just because you use a chair that you need help with everything or you can't do certain things. They're afraid to even shake your hand.
Exactly.
Like they're not that fragile.
Yeah.
At all.
Exactly. You understand.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we've talked about like that idea of infantilization a lot, and that like role of or the ableism in that, but I don't think we've ever specifically used the word fragile before. And I do think that that is like a perfect word where you can tell that someone's like worrying about you. And it's like
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a
like
good feeling.
it's almost like and sometimes, they try to be subtle about it, but at the same time, you can still feel the energy of somebody that they just feel like if they bump into you a little bit too hard, they might break you. Like, I'm okay. Like, I used to do a lot of wrestling when I was a young kid. Like, I wrestle with my brothers all the time. I'm tougher than you may think.
Yeah, and I like that you also brought up the like when I need help, I'll ask for it. I think that is such a important thing. I was ranting on my Instagram stories last night actually because I was on a plane and witnessed some just that exact kind of ableism where one of my seatmates was a blind man and he needed help with one thing,
Yeah,
and suddenly everyone was like grabbing his bags and touching him and trying to move him, and he was like, "Hey,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good.
Like,
I'm
yeah,
good. I don't."
it get
And
overwhelming.
I literally like stood up and I was like, "Please stop touching him." And we like had a moment where we like just were geeking about how annoying everyday ableism is. But
And
on my stories, it was just like, "Hey, that's like a very basic rule you learn as a child.
yeah,
Don't touch people if they didn't ask." And
yeah,
for some
yeah.
reason, people don't apply that to people with disabilities.
It's like I said, it's crazy because it's a line you gotta see in the middle, right? Like you could understand why they trying to help. It's like they trying to do a good thing. They want to be helpful to you, but at the same time, by you trying to be so helpful, you actually at the same time encroaching on the person's space. Like you have no idea if the person wants you getting that close. They might have a phobia of people being so close to them. Like you might be causing more harm than you are trying to help. So just take the time to ask. So, do you need help? If the person say, yes, they need help, then help them. If not, then okay.
That's a really good point of that, like, if you I think some people are like, well, I didn't want to not help just in case they were afraid to ask for help. And
Yeah,
it's like, well, you can initiate, you can say, hey, do you need help?
yeah, yeah.
And
It's
then
nothing wrong with
listen
that.
to the answer.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. I think that's a great intro to this, and just one of the best parts of this podcast, that just like being able to easily relate to things that not everyone can relate
Yeah.
to. And I think that's also what's so awesome about the QuadGods story. Aaron and I both watched the film. It's
Well,
awesome.
thank you, thank
Listeners,
you,
you
thank you.
gotta listen. You gotta watch it. It's on Max right
So,
now.
I
I'd love
really
to
enjoyed it.
hear a little bit more about just that origin story. And for our listeners who haven't seen the film, how did you all find each other and what was that like for you?
So we all actually met up at different times, different points, different places. Like some of us met at there's this it's almost like a gym or social gathering spot. It's called the Access Project, where they do a lot of things. To be honest with you, they do counseling and physical therapy for people, stretching them out, stuff like that. It's a social space where you can go to and do workouts and stuff like that. So some people met over there, and I met a couple of the guys down in Mount Sinai, where I went over there for this group called Transitions Group, where they help you, basically transition from being an inpatient back into the community, going into outpatient, and basically living independently. So that's where a lot of us met up at, like those different places. Um, there was, for me personally, when I was at one of the transitions groups, I was there with this doctor named Dr. Riccobono. Her name is Angela, and she is the psychologist that run the group, and she was telling me about these guys that's getting together. They trying to you know get this group started, and she think that I would be a good fit for it. So she brought me downstairs to the Ark, downstairs where Dr. Petruno work at. So when we got down there and the door opened, I saw the guys sitting inside, and I noticed that a lot of their faces was familiar. I knew a couple of them. So for me, that made it a little bit more easy to, be welcome into the room, even though I didn't have no feeling that I wouldn't be welcome, but it was just a little better once the door opened up like that.
I know in the film.
Is that like too much,
No,
or
it's
should
pretty
I? It's better.
good.
Okay.
I know in the film that you are connected at Mount Sinai. Can you share about that as well?
What about how we share that? Say that again one more time.
Mount Sinai
Yeah.
Hospital? Is that where you all met as well? I know in the film it shows you like going there to meet up with the QuadGods.
So I think if I'm right in the film, when you talking about might be referencing to the scene where it said 2018 when we was right in the bottom.
Yeah.
So that was a little after when we first met. When we first initially when we first got down there was the situation where I was just telling you about meeting up downstairs, down in the Ark. So when we got down there and I saw the guys and then they told me about what was going on. Probably like I would say maybe the next time that we met up probably was like the following week is when I was down there and the crew, there was a film crew down there with them. I'm not initially sure, why the film crew was there because I think they might have been there for a different reason and then, it all just worked together once they found out what we was down there trying to do and what we was getting started. So as they found out what we was getting started, they wanted to, I guess be able to film the journey along the way. And that's how everything got started. And with my boy named Chris, unfortunately the one that passed away that you saw in the film. It was initially his idea, to be honest with you. He was talking to Dr. Petruno about it. And as, the idea started to get up and running, unfortunately, he passed away. But, that's the reason why, if you look at our logo, the red wings on the logo is to represent him.
That's such an incredible way, and what a legacy he's left. I thought one of the lines that stuck out to me in the film is someone says that when you were all in that room together, there was this like immediate sense of belonging. And I love knowing that it was all kind of Chris's idea from the beginning, because it feels like it feels in the film that he's still very like present within this group, even though he's passed at this point. Like, you can tell that the spirit he left and the legacy he left is still very much a part of your group.
Definitely is.
And
every time, that's like I said, that's why we put the wings on the jersey, because every time we wear the jersey, he's with us, just like it's the logo on the sweater right now.
Yeah.
See, so he's with me every time I got it on. And I'm always with it, so.
Thanks for being willing to talk about that. I know it's always hard to talk about a friend who's passed, but I think it's, especially for Chris, his legacy is just really impactful. And that sense of belonging, I think that what y'all are doing with QuadGods is such a, can be, we hesitate to use the word inspiration because it gets thrown around at disabled people a lot to other non-disabled people. But one of the things we say on this podcast is like, when we as disabled people are aiming to inspire, it's for other disabled people. It's for people who are either coming to terms with a diagnosis or an injury or learning something. And I think that just the way your group has found each other and created that feeling of belonging and understanding. I hope that there are some young people out there who are feeling like kind of lost in whatever their situation is that can kind of replicate what you all have done and create
Yeah.
that
I
amazing group.
mean, to be honest with you, the feedback that we got from the film has been kind of overwhelming because there's been a lot of people that reached out to tell us, kind of the same thing what you're saying right now. Like, thank you for being able to put your story out there, for being vulnerable enough to put the story out there in the first place, and to just try to represent us all on the screen, or just to get us out there to get the story to be even told, because a lot of people are not in tune with what's going on in the community. So
Yeah, and it's an especially important film because so much representation we see of disability is white people in general, and having this group of Black men together, and Black men and women exploring like masculinity and gaming and disability. It's something that you don't really see on screen very often. Um, and you brought up that fragility and like the being seen as fragile. I think that in this film you see like what strength you all have found within each other and yourselves. And I think that anyone who would watch this film, I would assume, would not see you all as fragile once they've seen the film, because you're certainly not fragile at all.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Um, so I'm curious. I don't know very much about Aaron is the gamer on this call. I'll be full disclosure. Aaron has taught me everything I know about gaming, which is very little.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Oh, what you went to? What you went to, Aaron?
I love Overwatch
Overwatch. Okay.
and Fortnite,
Fortnite.
and I will literally play anything and enjoy it. I've been
So,
doing
because it sounds like I know Overwatch is first person shooter, right?
yeah. It's
So
my favorite game.
those are
I play
your
it
first
every day.
pick, first person shooters,
Yeah.
Call of Duty, stuff like that.
I'm not into Call of Duty, but I've tried it. I'm not very good at it.
Valorant.
But I like it, yeah.
Play Valorant too.
I have, yes.
Okay.
Also, not good at it.
Okay. Well, it's alright because I'm not a big first person shooter myself. I'm more into, and I don't fault me, please, because the whole gaming community probably gonna get on my head right now about what I'm about to say. I'm not. I don't know. You know how the games have certain labels like our role playing and MMOA and all these other different letters. So I don't know the labels of the games, but I'm into like story mode games, like stuff
Yeah.
like Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil, like everything that's mission based
Mm-hmm.
and something that have a storyline to it.
Yeah,
So
I love that too.
just to run around and shooting all day long, and I don't know. I need something with some puzzles in it, something that's gonna make me use my brain to get to the next level.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
love
No offense to all the gun people out there. No offense to all of y'all out
okay.
there. Please don't wild out on me.
Like I love a good story in a game.
Yeah,
A Tomb Raider
that
is
was one of
really
my
fun.
favorites.
It's
That
one of
was
my
literally
favorites
one of
too.
my favorites. Tomb
Yeah,
Raider,
I love it.
and then when they came out with Drake Uncharted,
Yes.
yeah, that was crazy. Right now, currently, I'm playing Ark Survival Evolved.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I love that game.
You love it?
I'm addicted to it now. It
I gotta try it
literally
out.
it literally took me from every other game that I was playing. Like literally, the only reason I'm starting to play Rocket League back again is because I got a tournament coming up. So I have no
Oh,
choice. I got to.
well, good luck on that tournament.
Oh yeah,
Shit.
thank you. Yeah, the
I don't know.
QuadGods going to be representing in the tournament
Yes.
coming up December 13th. It's between the 13th to the 15th. So
Nice.
I believe tournament night might be the 14th. I believe community game night is the 13th,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 14th is the tournament night. That's for the Logitech AGT,
Yes. We
AET,
love
excuse me,
Logitech.
AET. I say AGT. It's not America's Got Talent.
I
Yeah.
Speaking of tournaments, Easter Seals is having a tournament December 12th.
Definitely.
Fortnite, it'll be lots of fun. All the
Here we
gamers
go.
have a disability, and Richard, I hear that you're going to try out for that.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
you're trying to blow it up, huh? You're trying to blow it up. That was supposed to be a sneaky little thing. But yeah. I'm definitely gonna try to get my hands into that and see what that's all about.
Yes. I don't know when this episode is coming out, but hopefully before then. So tune in, twitch.tv/gain for access. And the
Yeah.
4 is a 4.
If the
4.
episode's not out, we'll just like make a clip of that little moment and share
Yeah,
that
I can't wait.
of our amazing
Yeah,
plug.
running around. Hold up.
So fun. Truly, like, knowing nothing about gaming, what we've done with ES gaming and tournaments has like completely changed what I thought about gaming, because I always kind of thought of gaming as like a very individual, alone kind of thing. And I've seen in these tournaments, like, no, it's a community and it's a blast. Like, it's super fun, even when I don't know what's going on in the game.
I can't wait, man. Oh man, I downloaded. Fortnite just recently updated too, so they had a big long update, but I downloaded it, so I'm ready. I'm ready to go. You said the 12th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a few days of playing in a row, which should be fun.
Yeah, I might have to. Now that we're talking about it, right after this, I'm gonna have to be getting on there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Back to back. Oh my god.
Back to back. It's gonna be great. You're gonna be great. Life of a streamer.
Let's go.
Back to back tournaments.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of like life of a streamer, if I didn't have Aaron in ES gaming, I don't think I would understand streaming at all. So for any of our listeners who are as unfamiliar with gaming as I used to be, what does it mean to like be a streamer as a career, and what kind of stuff do you do? Like, what is it? What do these tournaments entail?
To me, to be a streamer for a career was actually that's actually like a dream come true for me, because I always been a gamer since I was like 5-6 years old. I always been into video games. Regular Nintendo. I'm probably aging myself right now, but it's okay. Regular Nintendo. I mean, Genesis when it was first out, Sega, all of that stuff like that. Sonic the Hedgehog, Duck Hunt, believe it or not. So being that I've always had like a deep love of games like that, I always wanted to I always wished that I could just get paid to play games and just all day just play games and just find like that would have been my dream. So for all these years later, for the opportunity to come back around full circle to where I still get to do something that I really, really love to do, and at the same time be able to maintain and take care of my family at the same time is a blessing.
That is really like amazing, because I think we're around the same age, because I grew up with like Atari.
Yeah, see?
And
Yeah, you know about that.
yeah, so like the way gaming has changed so much, even in the last like 10 years. It's wild, but amazing too.
It's almost unreal how much it changed. Like to go all the way back from what we talking about, like Super Mario 1, like the little 2D 8-bit guy running around, to now you could get so deep into the experience, you could become so immersed in the game and experience. Like you got open world games, just like the game I was just talking about, Ark Survival Evolved. Like that is like 1,000 times higher than Yoshi, You know, you understand what I'm saying? So they came a really long way. Some of the graphics now is almost unbelievable.
So speaking of gaming, do you use any adaptive devices to play?
So the control that I use right now is called the Astro C40. I'm about to grab it. Hold on 1 second. It's right here. It's called the Astro C40, and it's basically like, and it's almost like something like what you would call a scuff control with the little paddles on the back.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the fact that I don't have 100% use of my hands, this controller is good for me because it's a little heavier. Well, actually, it's a lot heavier than a normal PlayStation control. So you see?
Oh, nice.
So it's similar to like, you know, a PlayStation control. You see it got the little paddles on the back.
Right.
So basically the joystick is customizable to where you can remove this little green plate on it, and you see the joysticks, the little joysticks here. You could mix and move them around with the analog stick. So if I wanted to have both joysticks down here, they would both be down here. I could put the D-pad on this side if I wanted to be on that side. However, I could do it to make my hands feel comfortable playing with it. Um, it will work that way. And then it's heavier, like I was saying, than the other controller. So it helps my hands, you know, notice that I'm actually holding something, because otherwise with the regular controls, I'd be slipping and dropping it, and it got a lot more grip on the back. With the little paddles on the back of the controls, like I was saying, my fingers, I don't have the strength to press the top buttons up here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier if these little two buttons down here could be pressed with these fingers for me. So it's different ways depending on what game I'm playing that, you know, I would go about using the controller. But right about now, excuse me, right about now, that's the main controller that I'm using right now. I was at one point using the Microsoft adaptable controller.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a regular Nintendo controller, but super duper big. So,
Right.
and it come with all of that extra peripheral buttons you can plug into it. So I was using that for a moment, and I'm the type of person I am is I like to push myself and push myself. So even though I couldn't control it, I couldn't use the controller and I couldn't hold it properly, like I just I wouldn't give up at all. I just kept on pushing at it, kept pushing at it. Even to this day, when I'm playing with it, my finger strength, like I said, is it's came back a little bit, but you know, not much to where it was. So whenever I play the game, most of the time I'm still only using like these four fingers, my two thumbs and my two pointers.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them I can't really, you know, physically control on my own like that. So I still find little ways to, you know, finagle and use the controller when I need to get it to do something.
Nice. Yeah. I think a lot of people who are not familiar with gaming and disability might not understand that, like, one controller can work for me, but not for you. Everyone has different needs, and I think it's important, especially for developers, to understand that, because the best accessibility is being able to fit different people, not a one size fits all.
Yeah, because one size will never fit all. That's just.
You ain't never lie about that. You exactly right.
Aaron, can you walk us through what type of adaptive controller you use?
I don't really use one.
Cool.
I play on keyboard and mouse. I have like a little Apple keyboard, too smaller is better for me. And then I gain on the Nintendo Switch. And those controllers are really tiny, so it's easier for me. I have used the Xbox adaptive controller, and I like it, but I mostly game on PC, so I just use keyboard and mouse.
Okay. So when you was talking about the Nintendo Switch games, you was talking about the Joy-Cons, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See now it's crazy that she even brought that up because it's a perfect example of what we was just talking about, how one size don't fit all, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't use those controllers to save my life.
Yeah.
They are too small for me. I can't even. I would be sitting there fumbling around with it. I can't use it at all. The only way I was able to try to get into my daughter's games when she was playing a Nintendo Switch, I had to actually buy. You know they got the little black thing. It's like
Yeah.
a piece that you could take the two Joy Cons and slide onto it
Mm-hmm.
and make it like the actual size of a real controller. So I had to go buy that because it's a little bigger. That way I could try to get into the game, but it's still a little bit too small because it was still so slippery and sleek,
Yeah.
sliding all over the place. But that is just a perfect example of what we was just saying, where one size will never fit all.
Exactly. I know the Switch 2 is coming out soon,
The Switch
and
2?
I hear people saying to make the Joy-Cons bigger, and I'm like, no, please
Yeah, she
don't
like,
do
let's
that.
see. But you say you do most of your gaming on the PC now.
Yeah, if I'm laying in bed, which I do a lot,
And that's
I
another
play
thing.
on
Look, she
PC.
over me again. Like I got my PC with the keyboard and the mouse. They basically just here for me to click to turn the thing on and put the password in. After
Mm-hmm.
that, I can't I can't play a game with this keyboard and mouse to save my life.
Yeah.
Unless I just gotta point at stuff with the mouse and everything else is just happening on its own, which is 100% cheating. So I can't do nothing with that keyboard and mouse. If it's not with this controller, or hopefully, because to be honest with you, since I've been out the nursing home, this is the only thing that I've actually like got consistently good at playing with. I, I never really tried to use another controller. So even sometimes I get scared sometimes. To be honest with you, I literally get scared if I drop this controller because I know that this controller is not like when last time when I spoke to somebody about replacing it, they was telling me that it's getting harder and harder to do because they stopped making it.
Oh.
So if I break this and when it gets to a point where I can't find a replacement, I'm, I'm gonna have to go through a little hardship until I can find another thing that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody, PlayStation, Xbox, one of y'all need to come out with something quick.
Have you tried the new
Preferably bigger
PlayStation?
and heavier.
Have you tried the new PlayStation adaptive controller?
Huh?
PlayStation has a new
You talking about
adaptive.
the circle one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so unfortunately, my bad, Sony, for not knowing the name of the controller. I know I'm probably gonna get in trouble for that. I know they got the new joystick that's round. It got one little analog on it or whatever,
Yeah.
and it got all the peripheral buttons that go around it. So
Yeah.
I don't have a PlayStation 5.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason why I haven't tried it like that. I tried it maybe, I would say about 2 or 3 times, but I don't think that was enough for me to try to get myself accustomed to it. Like the 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
that I did try it, it was a lot of other people around, so I didn't really get the chance to soak it in.
Yeah. I helped Sony play test it, and it is good, but it does take a minute to like figure it out because there's a lot of like back end stuff you have to do.
I know you could also co-pilot it, right? You could co-pilot
Yes,
it with
yeah.
another one.
Mm-hmm.
So we was working at some people. Well, we are still working with them. We working with some people down at the hospital to try to help them, you know, get certain things that they need to help them get into gaming and try to help them basically get into or get accustomed to whatever controls they might need to help them get by. Like a lot of people use the quad stick. So, for people that don't know what that is, a quad stick is a controller that people that are paralyzed from the neck down use with their mouth. So I got two of my teammates, actually three, use that at the moment. My teammate named Whiplash. We got Sitting Pretty, and we got Andy, which is Sergio, Nari, and Andy. Andy is a Kuro Slays. So all three of my teammates, they all use the quad stick. So they use quad sticks. We got teammates that use the Microsoft adaptable controls. You see the control that I just told you about right here. My teammate Princess, he used the Xbox control right now. I think he used just a standard Xbox controller. Princess, aka Mongo Slade. And I just wanted to make sure I get everybody, because if this episode come out and somebody gonna be like, "Oh, you ain't say my name right," I got everybody.
You got everybody and the gamer tags.
Yeah, right.
Which great segue. How did you come up with your gamer tag, Breadwinner 1007?
That's crazy. My gamer tag actually came about because it was more of a way of life for me. It didn't really necessarily have nothing to do with the game. My gamer tag came about because of circumstances that I've been through in my own personal life. So, being young and being a young kid when my mother passed away when I was 13. So I was young when my mother passed away, and my father passed away 3 years later.
Wow.
So I was only 16 when both of them was gone. So it kind of forced me to become like the head of my household as far as the male go. I was the oldest male in my family. I'm the oldest of 3 boys. I got 5. It was 5 of us all together. Excuse me. I got 2 older sisters and 2 younger brothers. So me being the oldest male at the time, when my mother and father was gone, I just felt like it was my responsibility to try to step up and help out the household. So, there's a saying for people that are the head of the household, that are, taking care of the household. They are the breadwinner. So I used to always say that when I was younger. They used to ask me like, what you gonna call yourself in the game? And I would say, well, I'm the breadwinner. I bring home the bacon. So I said that enough to where it kind of stuck to me, and people started calling me breadwinner. So in the beginning, it was breadwinner 27, but I changed it because I tried to get it. Once I changed my PlayStation, I forgot the password, and I had to create a whole new account. So it became breadwinner 1007. And that's where the name breadwinner came from, though.
Oh, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm so sorry for your losses, and
Thank you.
what an intense thing to have to take on as a 16-year-old. But also, it's so interesting how you said earlier, your gaming as a profession is like a dream come true.
Yeah.
You kind of manifested that from a young age, like that,
Right.
that you were gonna. It's very cool to hear that as your story, and then see that you're like here, and those 2 losses were not the last hardship you would face,
Yeah.
and yet you still have a career that is, in your own words, a dream.
Yeah, definitely. I'm blessed. And I got enough wisdom to see so. So I'm thankful. I'm more than thankful.
And I mean that gratitude always shows through, and I think it shows in the film a lot, because you are, listeners, when you watch, you'll see, Richard, you are dedicated, and you're not here to, and I really appreciate it in the film how you acknowledge the role that the QuadGods play in like representation and meaning something for the disability community, but at the same time it's not enough for you to just be like, oh, I'm just okay with just being here because we're representing something. I want to be good and I want to win.
That's right. That's right.
And
Listen, man, nobody joins the team to lose, man. None of us. Nobody likes being a loser. Nobody joins the team to lose. I can guarantee that. None of the listeners out there right now, I guarantee not near one of them said, you know what, I'm going to go be on that team because we going to lose. Like, no, ain't no way. Ain't no way. So come on, y'all. Let's all live in reality right now.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And, I brought up like how important the displays of like healthy masculinity are in the film.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really great one. There's a moment in the film where you do lose and you're upset about it. And there's like, I can't remember exactly the wording you use, but it's like, hey, I'm competitive and I'm here to win. So a loss is always going to be hard.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, you're basically saying I'm not actually angry or like losing. I'm not like giving up on anything. I'm just letting myself feel what this feels like. And I think that that's really gorgeous to get to see on screen. You like being like, no, this is how I'm feeling right now. I'm just going to let myself feel it.
Yeah. You have to. Of course, nobody can win everything. Nobody's going to win it all. But when you lose, it's not about the fact that you lost. It's about the fact it's about how you could come back from that loss. It's about, how you handle that loss. You can't take the loss and just bow out. Like, we all got ups and downs. We live through ups and downs, not just in tournaments and games, but in real life. So if you take the same mentality from the tournament to where, all right, I refuse to back down. Yeah, I might have lost this time, but next time they're going to know my name. You take that same mentality and you live real life with it. You might go through a loss in life. You might lose your job. You might, it's certain things you can lose that are devastating to you. But you can't let that put you in a space where you can't find yourself coming back from it, where you stay deep down in this dark space where you don't allow yourself to become productive anymore. You just stay down there, and you can't allow that to happen. You can't allow that to happen. You always got to realize that there's much more to live for. There's much more to go on for. That's not the end of it all. You can come back much bigger, better, and stronger than you was before.
Totally. I love how you connect that mentality to gaming, because that really, gaming has also done that for me. It is an escape from like everyday life, but it isn't everything. And playing games is great for mental health, and also great for building character and building strength. So I love that. Yeah.
No, you're definitely right about that. You're definitely right about that. Because like I said, you could be somebody that's just a sore loser and you just gonna give up and you can rage out and kick a hole through your PC and throw a splash water on your keyboard and go crazy. But then at the end of that all, like, you still lost. You still ain't accomplished nothing. You hurt yourself more in the end now, because now you got to replace everything. And you understand what I'm saying? Or you could just stand up for a second, dust it off, go get a little drink of water or whatever, come back and show yourself that it ain't over.
And it's so cool though, the way that you like, you don't just ignore it though, that you don't like to lose. I love that you let yourself have the like, nah, I'm frustrated right now. Like, you let
Yeah,
yourself
yeah,
out of
yeah.
those moments, because I think that sometimes the like brush it off mentality can make it feel like you're not allowed to be sad. And I love that you in this film really illustrate that, like, you can let yourself get these highs and lows,
Yeah,
but still take care of yourself and like show up every day at an even space.
yeah. Like I said, and like you'll see for the listeners that haven't watched it yet, when they get a chance to see it, you're gonna see I definitely am a competitive person. Like, and it's not easy for me to hide my feelings at all. Like, I work on myself every day. I'm not perfect. You know, a lot of things that I've been through in life. I got anger issues when it comes to certain things. So I work on myself every day at the same time. So when we out there helping people, I take that, and it's also like I'm looking at a mirror. I'm trying to help myself at the same time. So yeah, I do get competitive in my spirit. I gotta be able to just let it go when it happened, because if you hold on to it, things could go bad the other way. Like I learned in life that, everybody is like, like how they use the analogy, we are like a gallon of water. And at some moment, if you just keep holding everything in, it will overflow. Like if you just sit a gallon under an open faucet and just let the water run, at some moment that bottle is going to start overflowing unless you pour out some of that water that's inside. So I guess that's me in a way letting some of that water out. Like when I have these emotions, I have to be able to just let them play themselves out, and just after that, be able to, like you said, put myself back on balance. Not to be able to let it carry me so far away that it's just enraging me. But at the same time, let it, like the steam off, and then I could just take a little break and get back down to earth. I know that at the end of the day, it's not all about winning. And in the movie, you know, yeah, I am competitive because that's just a part of, and it's also a part of what we was talking about earlier when I said that one of the biggest things that people get wrong about me is being fragile. So a lot of the times, and that's kind of why we started the team in the first place too, is because being in certain positions, people feel that you might not be strong enough or capable to do certain things, right? So I'm not cool with people thinking that I'm not capable. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm more than capable of doing anything that you could do. Anything. And I could guarantee that. So when you look at me as if I'm not, I take offense to that. And I could easily prove you wrong. So that's just like, that's just how I see things. Like I just don't want nobody to look at me that way. Just look at me as if you look at anybody else, and we all be, just fine with that.
That is like one of my biggest pet peeves. Not pet peeve. My biggest like frustration is people who think I'm not capable of literally anything. And I just like to prove people wrong. It's like my mission in life is to do that. Cause yeah, like just because I sit in a chair every day doesn't mean I can't go to school, I can't work, I can't play games. It's just like it really annoys me a lot.
Yeah. I could definitely, believe me, I could definitely understand exactly, exactly how you feel as far as people with this whole not being capable to do certain things. But at the same time, and no, not even to say the word, but the way I take that energy when I feel it, I use it to fire me up to be able to prove them wrong. So things that people could do, like for instance, I know that I'm not going to be able to jump and dunk the ball right now, but I could shoot a 3, which is worth more than you dunking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
True.
Your mind is the smartest. Your mind is the strongest muscle that you have on your body, right? Like they say, it's always brains before brawn.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do things that you want to do. You just got to figure a different way to do it. That's all.
Yeah, and sometimes,
As long as you have the will to do it, there's a way for you to do it.
right. And sometimes the way we have to do things is better than
Exactly.
somebody who
Yes.
isn't disabled.
Exactly. Like they say, right? Work smart, not hard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes we come up with ideas that's a lot smarter and it's a lot less work, a lot less labor.
Yeah. Disabled people are like, we obviously are not a monolith and could not be grouped by any one adjective, but I will say we're pretty damn innovative. That's
right.
a through
That's
line
right.
I see.
Like I said,
We'll
man,
figure it out.
that's right. When you need something done, you got to get it done, man. You can't just bow out and be like, I guess I won't be able to do this. No, ain't none of that. Nah, we ain't having that.
Well, we have just a few minutes left. I just want to, we brought up Easter seals, obviously, with ES Gaming, and just want to kind of transition into talking a little bit about one of the Easter seals pillars, which is community, and how important community is. Aaron, I know you have a question you prepared on this that I love that question, so I want to make sure we get to it before our time runs out.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I loved seeing the friendships on the QuadGods movie. The way you all talked about your injuries, your like helping each other emotionally, dating, all these things, like these life events that you all really connect to each other and help each other out. So my question is, why is community so important for people with disabilities? And how can we use gaming to build up those communities?
That's actually a really good question, too. So, community is extremely important to people in the disabled community because isolation could be one of the most deadliest things in the community. So isolation is actually, like I said, to use the word, is deadly. Like when you find yourself trapped to where you feel like you're all alone and you're depressed and there's nobody that understands you and you staying away, you trying to stay away from everybody because you feel like you're a burden and you don't want to be, too much of a problem to people. It could cause you to just get into this downward spiral to where, it would be hard for you to ever come out of it. Like mental health is extremely important. So community have a lot to do with you maintaining that. You always need to have somebody around you to keep a positive thought in your ear, to keep you thinking positive thoughts, to keep you understanding that you okay. You might not be 100% physically like how you was before, but there's always somebody that could be in a worse position that you are in right now. I learned that from when I was younger, that, when you suffering, yeah, you may be suffering, but believe me, there's people that are in worse positions that would love to trade and take your place. So you need to be thankful for being alive, period. So those thoughts like that help to carry me on. And community, like I said, is one of the most important things to help you staying away from being in a depressed state of mind or, keeping yourself from wanting to, even just do something that you shouldn't be, as far as some people, they might get so depressed that they might want to harm themselves, or you never know. So community is major, when it comes to the disabled community. Like, to be able to have somebody to feel like you could just talk to, you could just go into a room and not feel stigmatized, and everybody looking at you like, oh, why he came or why she came, or you, like, for instance, when you getting on the bus and you got everybody on the bus looking at you like you holding up their day, like, all those things you go through, like, people have to, if you got somebody going through that type of stuff all day, and then they going back home to just be by themselves, and they don't have nobody to share these hardships with that they go through, that's no good for nobody, not even able-bodied people. So, community is a big, big thing. It's a big thing.
And with the internet, having a community is so much easier. Like, you even saw that, especially during the pandemic, how
Yeah.
the internet really connects people.
Yeah. What you were saying with the gaming, that's another thing. Like, the gaming side of, when it's just, you could actually build a community, like we was talking about, right? But now you could take this and build a community of people all around the world. Like, you could literally get on the game and become friends with somebody that's all the way in, Kansas, or all the way in Switzerland, or all the way in Europe, or all the way in the UK, or you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's
Mhm.
it's it's crazy, because now you could get close with somebody, and you could be gaming. I could game with somebody and be game with them for 3, 4, 5 years, and now that person is literally almost like we each other therapists. Like, we confide in each other. We talk about it, our hardships to each other. We are there for each other. With the Discord community, you can actually build a whole group, hundreds, if not thousands of people, that y'all all are dealing with the same type of situation. And everybody could become helpful to each other. And then it might even expand to, if people are living in the same neighborhood, then they could literally physically help each other out if they need it. So things like this are very important. It's very important, because now it's tying people together that almost physically had no other chance to do so.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate having you here. It was an amazing conversation. I'm so happy that we got to meet and chat about dating. So thank you for joining us.
I can't even lie to you. I'm extremely excited to be here, and we gonna have to do this again. Maybe, I don't know. We can set
Yeah.
something else up. I'm here for it.
No
I'm here
It's
for
problem.
it. Definitely.
it's everything you just said about community. Like, this podcast has become such a space for that, in terms of, like, these almost start to feel like little therapy sessions for me, like,
Yeah.
I you bring up, like, the spirals that depression can put you into, and I struggled with my mental health for so long, tried a million different therapies and medications and all these things, and nothing in my life has made more of a change than, honestly, this podcast and my friendship with Erin. Like, and having someone I can be like, oh, I just went through this, and I know that she's going to reply and be like, oh, that's the worst. Like, or like, classic. and
Yeah.
and then this podcast, having these moments where it's like, man, we're talking for an hour, but because we have this, like, the larger community of the disability community, we can get so real with one another. And just, I think that it's just so incredible. I love community. I'm glad you bring up Discord. Shameless plug for our ES Gaming Discord.
Yeah.
Aaron's building some gorgeous community over there.
Yeah. Definitely. We gotta get into
Um,
that. What is it? What is it, Aaron?
What was that?
The Discord. Say it. What it is?
It's ES Gaming.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Okay. Definitely.
Oh, and we'll get Richard in there. It's going to get even better in the ES Gaming Discord. It's going to be linked in this episode description for sure.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling this is not the last time we're going to collaborate, Richard. This was too fun. I think we're going to have to make this maybe a regular thing.
Before we go, though, right? Before we go, just when you was just saying about, community and how this is starting to feel like a little, like therapist session for you and stuff like that. I feel the same way, first of all. Second is that plenty of times that's how I feel when it comes to the stream and the live stream, and then how I feel with the community and the family that we set up over there. So it's plenty of times that I literally would shed a tear live on stream. Like that's how deep the bond is between me and my family that we have on the stream, because I don't use the word followers for them, because there's nobody that I hang around or that I be around or that I even associate myself with that are followers. I was never taught to be a follower, and I'm not going to start embracing the fact of being a follower now. When I was young, I was always taught to be a leader. So everybody that's with me, everybody that's around me, everybody that I associate myself with, we are all leaders. And for everybody that might be listening today, everybody that's listening right now, I want you to remember that. You are not a follower. You are a leader. We are all leaders. And that's why we are all here together now.
Oh, I'm getting a little choked up, Richard. This is an amazing episode. Thank you so much for being here.
If you liked what you heard, go ahead and subscribe and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you to our listeners, and as always, thank you to Easter Seals for giving us the space and resources to share such authentic conversations from within the disability community to our listeners.
And we'll see you next time for another episode of Everything You Know About Disability is Wrong.
Everything you know about disability is wrong.
This is a podcast brought to you by Easter Seals.
You know, we actually work for Easter Seals, but maybe our listeners don't know what we do.
That's true. Easter Seals is leading the way to full access, equity, and inclusion for disabled people and their families.
And did you know we've been doing this for more than a century?
This includes helping disabled people find meaningful employment and addressing healthcare needs for all ages.
We're proud to serve communities across the country and ready for the next 100 years. For more, check out easterseals.com.